Screencast 49, Charting Part 3, Styling and Cleanup. Now where we last left off was, we created this chart that's gray, and then the last few data points it shows as red. And that was an example of using dynamic styling. But let's look at the chart. And there's some improvements we want to make. Now the first thing that I want to do is, you've probably noticed me clicking all the way around here trying to see the chart. And you should remember there's this zoom function here. So you can see the whole page width, or go down to a specific smaller size like 50%. So it spares you the time of having to zoom and drag and move around all the time. But let's take a look, and now that we can see the entire chart, at some of the problems. First, there are these dates down here, and they look crappy, right? I mean, all these weird numbers there. They go up and down. That's because the dates are large, right? Second, we have some extraneous, here I can zoom in actually for this one. You can see underneath the dates, we have the word date, and then over here we have post A. So these axes, not very useful for us, right? More alarmingly, we have, now notice these are counts of things, right? And for some reason, the framework is deciding to show -5 as the minimum value. We don't want that. That doesn't make any sense. You can't have negative views on a blog post. And then finally, there's the title, which is not really that descriptive. And so we're going to fix a whole bunch of these things. Let's go to page width for a second. And the first thing we want to do is we want to make sure, actually, let me show you something else that's a problem that's not obvious. The font here is Segoe UI, or it's supposed to be. And the font here it looks like Arial. We don't like that. We want to change the fonts. Now, what we're going to do is we want all the styles for this chart to use the same font. So we can create a new style template, right? We'll start there, fixing the fonts. So I have a library here called Sample Template Report Library, right? And I'm going to make my own column chart style. So I'll add a new item, which is an XY chart style template. I'll call this like column plain. Okay, you can see all these styles are here. I'll expand all the nodes for a second. Right, these are where all the colors are, and what we want to make sure is that we're actually seeing the right fonts everywhere. So I'll go ahead and change these to Segoe UI here. I'll copy the string and just paste it in everywhere I see this. Here and here. Nothing there. Nothing there. Font style, Segoe UI. Point label style, Segoe UI. Anything else? No. All good. So we've changed all the fonts in this style. Let's use the style now. Go back to the chart. Let me close the style. And then let's go ahead and change the style template from that to column plain. And you should see a bunch of changes, right? Now, why go to a gray background? Because that is the value that's set in the style. So we'll have to fix that one up as well. You can see the fonts actually changed here, right? Let's fix it up some more. Let's go back to that shared library, the shared template report library. Go to column plain, and let's see what we can do. The plot area was set to light gray. We'll fix that. We'll make it this. Save it. Preview. Okay, now we got rid of that. Now what about that border? I didn't like the border at all, did I? So border styles set to 1 point. I don't want it, so I'll make it none. That should get rid of it. I'll save. Preview. Right, I got rid of the immediate border. Now it's the entire chart. So let me use the zoom. The entire chart still has a border, which I do not like. So I'll go back to the setting, and border style there, we'll change that to none as well. Preview. Okay. So there we go. That solved a lot of the problems actually. Now the next thing we want to do is actually make the chart smaller. And let me zoom in. So I don't have to zoom in all this time. You can see the font has changed here. I'm going to make the chart smaller though, right? So go to the chart and go to the size, which is down here. I don't want it that wide, maybe just 4 inches. I want a tiny little chart actually. And let's say 2.5 inches tall. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, good. A little more compressed. I like that. Next thing, let's fix the title of the chart. We'll click on the chart data region and go to title, and we'll call it 30-day viewing history. Perfect. Okay. Then what about the axes? Don't worry about the dates. We'll fix all that stuff up later. What about the axes? Post A is there, date is here. I don't want them. So we'll go to the XY chart, and notice it's blank here, so it's picking it up from the names of the data. I'll just set this to literally equals like that, equals double quote, double quote. That'll force it to go blank. There you go. Now it's gone. What about the dates? Really the specific dates are not important to me. So what can we do here? Well, one of your temptations, we try to set the format string. Like there's a format string called, I think, lowercase d, and you'll notice, unfortunately, the format string doesn't really work on this, right? So let's ignore that for a second. Let's say we just don't want dates. I just want, the number, the ordinal number, right? Let's try that. We'll change the label from fields bang date value to ordinal value. And then you'll see there are actual numbers here. Now this is, days in the past, so it's kind of weird that, a month ago, that number is 0. Maybe we really didn't want that. So let's go ahead and figure out how we can change that. So we'll just subtract the ordinal from a value like 29. And now you see the last number, 4, 3, 2, 1, and of course 0 is today, right? So to speak, today. So this is the 30-day viewing history. And I've shown you in just a couple of steps how you can fix up a chart using style templates and editing the actual data region. Okay? And again, we're going to spend much more time on making all sorts of charts and making them look even better than this. So that'll be in the next few screencasts.